Welcome back to Wild Wine Life. I'm Ray. I'm here with Kyle McClellan. We're enjoying a little bit of wine, and we've just switched over to a little Silver Oak Alexander Valley Special Vintage 2008. I think that was your first year with the Cardinals.
That was my debut year. Yeah, it was a special year for me. I'll drink to that.
I'll drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how can people donate to Brace for Impact or volunteer?
Yeah, so the volunteer one's tough for us. It's really the one thing organizationally we haven't figured out a great way because of the way that we do our work. So Haiti, obviously not everybody can jump on a plane and go down there and spend the time down there. In North City, the approach we take is, we try to support through the work that we're doing, through the remodel of houses. We purchase these homes, remodel them with all local contractors. So 80% minority participation in our labor force, creating jobs and opportunity for people that live in and around this community. And so we've had a lot of people that, hey, we can put together our workforce can come down and do volunteer days. And not that we're against that, but it's just not the way that we're choosing to go about it because we're trying to employ people through the process. And so we create 50 jobs for every house renovation. It creates 50 jobs for people to provide the stability for their family. And one of the cool things is we've been doing this for 7 years. And a lot of the guys that I met on the first house are still there on the last house, and that we've been doing. And so creating those jobs and opportunity has been huge and provided more community buy-in from people that live in and around the community. And so that's been a great way. We do have some volunteer opportunity. We just packaged 75,000 meals last weekend for our feeding program in Haiti that we do. And we have things like that. But our website is the best way to make a donation. And we run independently of each other. So we have two different bank accounts. If North City and local is your thing that you're passionate about, you can donate to that and the money goes 100% to North City. If international or Haiti is what's exciting to you, it stays there. We don't blend the two. We don't dictate what goes where. The donor gets to pick where the money goes and support those programs.
What are those websites?
BraceForImpact46.com is our website, and then we have on there you'll see a Haiti and a North St. Louis tab, and you can donate accordingly.
Okay. Here's a question for you. What you've achieved in life and what you've built, do you feel that same level of opportunity is something unique to the United States?
Expand on that a little bit for me.
Well, I've always said that we're blessed to be born or at least live in the United States.
You won the lottery.
You won the lottery. Yep. Whether you've immigrated here or you were born here, and the opportunities that are out there that you decide to pursue as an individual is up to you. How you define the great American dream.
Yeah,
and then what you want to do once you feel you've achieved it is entirely up to you. And do you think as an individual, what you've given back, you think, the level of success, do you think those opportunities would be the opportunities that you found here as an American and as a person who has traveled, you think that they're is easily available in other countries compared to the United States, and the ability to give back or as easy in other countries as they are here in the United States?
Yeah, so I think it looks different, right? So what I tell people all the time, my experience in Haiti, you hear people say this all the time. Well, if you work hard, good things will happen. Well, I can promise you in the situation like what we see in Haiti, that's not necessarily the case. Working hard with opportunity now provides you a path to have success. But some of the people that we see in Haiti are the hardest working people I've ever come across, but they don't have the opportunity, right? And so that's when you pair that hard work with opportunity is where you start to see things expand. So for sure, here in the United States, like we have so many opportunities and we're blessed. Doesn't mean that doesn't come with, there's issues and there's people that might not be able to, for various reasons, be able to, take those opportunities. But they're definitely here more so than what we experience in Haiti. If you travel around to third world countries or, countries in the Caribbean and that, and you ask, you look at the people and you talk to them, what are your opportunities here? Well, a lot of them have maximized on tourism, and so they're doing things that involve that, but their ceiling isn't as high as what we have opportunity wise here in the United States. And so, to me, I feel an obligation with that. Like I said, you win the lottery by being born here. More people live like people in Haiti than do like us throughout the world, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. And so, with that comes expectation and obligation to give back and provide things for people that and it looks in different ways. Doesn't mean you have to start an organization and raise millions of dollars and do all these things. Every situation looks different. Being a mentor, being something, but providing that hope and that glimpse of what success looks like to that next generation, I think is a huge obligation that we have, given the things that we have.
Now, I did a little bit of research, and I asked a couple friends of mine at various restaurants that used to hang out at. I said, "Can you tell me a funny story about Kyle McClellan? That I can ask him about." No funny stories. All I heard was, "Ray, he's a super nice guy. He's sweet. He's just quiet. He always was nice to the staff. He wasn't arrogant. He always had time for the fans no matter what." And I said, kind of reminds me a lot of Ozzie Smith and Stan Musial. I said, the way they described you is how people describe Stan Musial and Ozzie Smith. And growing up in St. Louis, you hear those stories.
Mm-hmm.
How much of an influence did their off-field behavior have on you as a kid and an adult?
Well, I think you come up through the Cardinals organization, growing up here in St. Louis. There's an expectation, right, of how people in the Cardinals organization conduct themselves, carry themselves. And I think I just fit into that really well with kind of my personal expectation. And playing in your hometown comes with a lot of, I say all the time, if I was in Seattle and had a bad game, nobody would know about it. Well, unfortunately, when I'm here and have a bad game, everybody knows about it, and I hear about it. And so there's more. I mean, I was a middle reliever, late inning reliever, starter for a little bit, but the recognition that I got, typically that's not a position that guys are recognized a lot. But being here, I mean, you were always in the spotlight. People knew who you were, where you were going, and so to me, there's a standard that I expect of how I'm going to act and conduct myself, and so it's still to this day, like we'll be out and people will come up and say, are you Kyle McClellan? And my kids, they get a kick out of it. They love it, because they weren't around when I was playing. My daughter was born in 2011. Mm-hmm. 2013 was my last year. My son was born. My last game was September in the minor leagues with the Rangers of 13, and my son was born the next month. And so never played a game after that. And so they enjoy, that, but also realizing you're always on. When you see a fan and you see somebody that says hello to you, that's their only opportunity to meet you, experience with you, and that's how they're going to remember you. And so making sure that that's a positive interaction and experience for that person goes a long way.
That is really cool. Now, how exciting was it for you to see your son harvest his first deer this past deer season?
Well, his first year was a couple years ago. So he's 9 now. He was 6. I think he was 6 or 7 when he shot his first doe.
Okay.
And then he shot his first buck. It would have been December of 21. So he was 7, and he shot his first buck. It was actually the buck that I was chasing all year on our farm. Never had an experience, never had a sighting. Got him a ton on camera, but never saw him in person. First time we saw him was Christmas Eve. My son was hunting, and we saw him come up. He made a great shot at 50 yards with a crossbow, and he was able to harvest a 141-inch 9-pointer. This past year, we had a little change in our farm and our kind of situation, but we sold our farm that was in Pike County, Illinois, which we had for 10 years, and great memories and unbelievable times up there. But a buddy of mine lives 20 minutes from us and said, "Hey, I got this farm. You guys are more than welcome to come hunt it." And so I set it up for hunting, took a blind down there, and took my son there. Our first hunt on the farm, my son shot a doe, and later was able to take him back, and he shot a really good buck again. But those experiences are important, and I didn't grow up hunting. It was something I got into through baseball. But the time that I've spent with my kids hunting, and my daughter hunts as well. She shot her first buck a couple years ago. It's just something special about just me and them doing something they're not used to. And so what that does is that just opens up just a different connection between us, because they're really relying on me and listening to me, and know I do this a lot and kind of following in my footsteps and taking the advice. And it's just been a really cool connection that we've had together through several hunts.
Well, that actually answers a couple other questions. Now, who's your favorite person in the Cardinal organization to hunt and fish with?
I don't know if I've hunted with anybody. So I'm on a hunting show, and so I always got my camera guy with me, who's a buddy of mine. I've hunted on Adam Wainwright's lease before, but I don't know if we've ever actually hunted together. But
Mike Shannon. I mean, he's a big duck hunter.
I've never hunted with him. But I mean, him and the stories with him and Whitey Herzog, all the time. Whitey, I just interviewed Whitey not too long ago for the podcast I do for the Cardinals, and we didn't get into it on the show. But I mean, he would go fishing with his players in the morning, and then go back, shower, get ready, and then go to the field and see them there later. So it's just crazy to think like your manager and player out fishing together, in the morning, just knowing how relationships are now in baseball. And, but they used to fish together all the time in the morning and then go out and play that evening. But Adam Wainwright's he would be my guy. Adam and I enjoy the outdoors. We talk about it all the time. So he would definitely be my go-to.
So you never went fishing with Mike Shannon and Bob Euchre at Paul Faust's place?
I did not.
No,
that would have been a trip.
That would. I heard. He wouldn't take it off because of a little superstition. What was it like being an outdoor enthusiast and having Tony as a manager? I mean, you go from Whitey Herzog to Tony.
Yeah. Well, Tony, and I believe that story was Mike Matheny, I think, was involved in that, and if I remember right. But we had on my team in 2008 when I first came up, we had quite a bit of outdoorsmen. And so there was bows hanging in the lockers all the time. And so we would come in and Tony would take them and put them in the trash. And it was just kind of a little fun little banter back and forth with each other. But he always respected it. We just kind of didn't talk about it. But there was one time we were going to San Francisco and he had an ARF event, Animal Rights Foundation event. And he said, as a young player, you're expected to go. So he said, "Hey, Kyle, would you like to play my golf tournament?" And I said, "Actually, He was all right with it. We would go down, we'd shoot our bows and underneath in the tunnel and get that time in. But we kind of respected both people's sides, and our common ground is we both love dogs, so we could always talk about that.
That's cool. Well, Kyle, I want to thank you for coming and joining us here at Wild Wine Life. I hope I can bring you back for a little bit more wine and some more stories. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here at Wild Wine Life. Please join us again. I'm Ray. I'm here with Kyle McClellan. Don't forget to live the dream, and here's living the Wild Wine Life.